What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I want to thank y'all for being here once again. We got back-to-back uploads 2 days in a row. We're just rolling with it, having fun. So we're gonna get back into things today. I really want to start the episode off talking about Pelicans fire head coach Willie Green after a 2-10 start to the season. It kind of seems like a constant cycle of problems out in New Orleans. They are dead last in points per game. They are 19th in total team defense, which is a problem because it is definitely a defensive-minded team when you look at players like Jose Alvarado, Herb Jones, even Trey Murphy. They got a lot of defensive pieces. Yves Missy holding it down in the paint. You would think that this would be more of an enforcer-type team, but they just have not been that, and I think a lot of that does come down to coaching and defensive schematics. So I do think it was time for Willie Green to go. It is unfortunate seeing head coaches move, especially so early in the season. And the Pelicans with a promising roster this year. I think the addition of Jordan Poole, I think bringing back a skinnier Zion, I think that brought a lot of hope for the team for this season, but clearly things are not playing out how they wanted it to. I think Trey Murphy being that lead option when Zion is out, I think that's too big of a role for him. Realistically, what I see him as is a third option on a winning team. I think Trey Murphy is an excellent player. I think he's a very, very good scorer. I think he's a very good defender. I think he's super versatile defensively. But I think there's just too many problems rotation-wise. I think there's too many problems clearly behind the scenes in New Orleans. And best of luck to all you New Orleans fans, if any of you exist out there. So Willie Green gets the can. Will be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season with New Orleans. I love what they have going on with Derek Queen. I love what they have going on with Jeremiah Fears. I think they have a lot of players that don't sync up timeline-wise. DeJounte Murray hasn't touched a basketball in like 2 to 3 seasons. So it will be interesting to see how they bounce back from this. Maybe they get something going with their interim head coach, but yeah, we shall see. And the next thing I want to talk about, Bronny starts an NBA game. LeBron gets sent down to the G League. Bronny plays 10 minutes versus the Bucks. 0 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Basically does nothing every time he steps out on the court in the NBA. It is kind of a struggle to watch Bronny play because you see a lot of the positives when you look at his G League highlights. And then he comes up to the league and it seems like his confidence is shot. Now I can only imagine when he's out there, it seems like the pressure of the world is on him because he's probably one of the most criticized players. And I think a lot of us do want to see Bronny succeed in the NBA. But I watched the game yesterday. He starts the game. His first shot's a three-pointer that doesn't go in. And then like a minute later, he catches the ball in the corner wide open. I mean like wide open, and he passes up his shot. After that, he gets taken out of the game, doesn't get put back in till way later in the game. It just seems like very, very hard thing to get him going, especially on that Lakers team that is so star-dominated. I think he's kind of missing his time in the NBA, and I don't see it working out much longer. Clearly, JJ Redick is pulling for him. I'm sure he's got LeBron in his ear from time to time saying like, hey, like let's get him going this way, let's get him going that way. Bronny has been struggling consistently since he has played in the NBA, and then he'll go down in the G League and score 30 points, no problem. So I think it's a mental thing with Bronny. I think it does bring up the question, how is Bronny starting in an NBA game when guys like Sharif Cooper, guys like Mac McClung can't even get a footing, can't even stay on a team for longer than apparently 3 days in the case of Mac McClung. So brings up the conversation of nepotism. I'm not gonna speculate too much on that. I mean, we all see what it is. So best of luck to Bronny moving forward, and good to know that LeBron is feeling good down and working out with the South Bay Lakers. So hopefully we get to see some LeBron action soon. Next thing I want to talk about, is Austin Reaves an all-star this season? Austin Reaves currently averaging 28 points per game, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 1.5 steals on 48% from the field, 33% from 3. I really think he has cemented himself as an elite scorer in the NBA. I've watched enough Lakers games to be able to tell that the way he kind of moves, it's very Donovan Mitchell-esque. Puts up a lot of three-pointers, has a great hesitation move, and gets to the free throw line a lot. He is 13th in the league in free throws attempted per game. And you've kind of seen this linear progression year by year from Austin Reaves. Just gets a little bit better every season, and he's a second option on a 10-4 Lakers team, and he's carried them in games when Luka has been out. He's blown up for some huge scoring nights this season, and it really brings the question, is he an all-star? Now, the problem is he is in the backcourt of the Western Conference, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Stephen Curry, James Harden. There's a lot of elite guards in the West, and how does he stack up against those? I think obviously if the voting was today, I think Reaves would be an all-star. And it also brings up the question, is he an all-star caliber player for the future? Like, is he a guy who's going to get a maximum contract from a team? I think the big question here is Austin Reaves a second option on a championship team? And I would say right now, I'm undecided on that. As much Austin Reaves basketball as I've watched, I still am undecided on if he is that good to be a second option on a championship team. I think he's grown a lot defensively. I think he's grown a lot as a playmaker. I think his passing has gotten a lot better. But yeah, great season so far from Austin Reaves. I would say definitely an all-star caliber season through 14 games this year. But definitely it is interesting to see where he'll end up, if he'll stay a Laker in the coming years, and if he will get that all-star nod this season. Next thing we're going to move into, we're going to play a little game. Is this guy on an NBA roster today? I'm going to go through, I have 8 players here, and you're going to guess. I'm going to give you some time to guess. Is this guy on an NBA roster as of today? All right, so the first player we have is Garrett Temple. If you guessed yes, Garrett Temple is on an NBA roster. He's a part of the Toronto Raptors this season, really playing that Udonis Haslem role, player-coach role. Obviously, talent-wise, he's not good enough to be in the NBA, but I think he has secured himself a few extra M's with this contract with the Raptors, just kind of being a vet in the locker room, coaching the guys up. So shout out to Garrett Temple. Yes, he is on the Toronto Raptors. We got player number 2, Alec Burks. If you guessed yes, you would be incorrect. Alec Burks not on an NBA roster this season. I believe last year he played with the Miami Heat. Clearly did not get another contract from them or anybody else. So shout out to Alec Burks. Player number 3, Bismack Biyombo. I'll give you a few seconds. The answer is yes. Bismack Biyombo is on an NBA roster. He is with the San Antonio Spurs this season, and he has actually, for some reason, played pretty decent minutes with the Spurs, kind of using him as a backup to the backup. He's played some rotational minutes this season. That was honestly a big surprise to me. Bismack Biyombo still in the NBA in 2025. Next player, Cameron Payne. The answer is no. Cameron Payne is not in the NBA or on a roster as of this point in the NBA season, which is crazy to think because last season he was with the New York Knicks and pretty much running the second unit, although that was only maybe 7 or 8 minutes every night because, Thibodeau liked to play that starting 5 about 40 minutes a night. But yeah, surprising to see Cameron Payne not in the NBA this season. Next player, Pat Connaughton. If you guessed yes, you would be correct. Pat Connaughton is currently on the Charlotte Hornets. Very interesting situation there, going from Milwaukee and kind of being that vet on Milwaukee, that role player on Milwaukee. Kind of seems like he got replaced by AJ Green over there. But yes, he is still kicking and in the league on the Charlotte Hornets. He did play a little bit last night. I saw him show up in the box score, so shout out to Pat Connaughton. The next player, Dwight Powell. If you guessed Yes, that would still be correct. He is currently on the Dallas Mavericks. I believe he is their longest tenured player. I think he's been there for almost a decade. Shout out to Dwight Powell, still holding it down out in Dallas. The next player, Monte Morris. If you guessed yes, that would be correct. Monte Morris recently signed with the Indiana Pacers. He's currently averaging 3.2 points per game. Still finding a role for himself as the shorter bucket getter, kind of playing that veteran role in Indiana since they got rid of James Johnson after last season. So a lot more problems in Indiana than having Monte Morris on the roster, I'll tell you that for sure. And the last and final player, we have Spencer Dinwiddie. If you guessed no, that would be correct. Spencer Dinwiddie is not on an NBA roster. I believe I saw like a week ago, Spencer Dinwiddie signed with a EuroLeague team. I'm pretty sure it was a big EuroLeague team. Probably got a bag to play overseas. So shout out to Spencer Dinwiddie. He had a great NBA career. You never know, maybe he'll be back one day, but most likely not. But yeah, let me know in the comments what score out of 8 you got. And then finally, moving on to the last section, I want to give a shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, the Washington Wizards, and the Indiana Pacers. Brooklyn Nets and Washington Wizards both 1-11 this season. Indiana Pacers are 1-12. I didn't really check this stat, but this has to be the first time that 3 teams in a conference have only 1 win throughout this deep into the season. I want to give a shout out to all of those teams. Taking tank, very personal. GMs just exerting their straight love of the game this season. Interesting tidbit, if anybody is bored tonight, Sunday, November 16th at 6 p.m., the Brooklyn Nets will be facing off against the Washington Wizards. I will sure be tuning in. I just want to give a shout out to the Brooklyn Nets. Love that team. I think long way ahead of them until they're good again. But yeah, so shout out to those 3 teams. And that's pretty much all I have for the episode today. It's a little bit shorter of an episode. I didn't have as much stuff prepared, but I still wanted to get one out because I'm having a lot of fun with this. So if you enjoy the video, please drop a like, consider subscribing, and follow me on Instagram at peace.hoops. I want to thank you all again for being here, being patient with me. That's all I got. So.